Hello and welcome back to Building the Future 2020. Now, as promised, with a session with innovative startups. And the next speaker is the head of a special cluster that we have here in Bavaria. It's a network for innovative massive construction. And well, Ruediger has also other experiences, for example, in the areas of mechatronics and optimization. He is also involved in the platform Digital Planning and Construction, the Center for Digitalization Bavaria. But now we will talk about this network, and obviously networking is something that we all need in the current times. And Ruediger, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. So welcome back, everybody, to the last sessions. Okay, yes, now it's working. Thank you. I just would like to introduce to you my current network. We are a network from Bayern Innovativ. Bayern Innovativ is a company owned by the Bavarian government, and I'm responsible for this NIM, Network for Innovative Solid Construction. I would like to show you now within a few slides what we are doing and who we are and how we act in Bavaria. We are active throughout whole Bavaria with different kind of events, focusing always on the construction sector. We also have a kind of trend radar. We made it in with around 500 participants, so we get an impression about what the next trends are in Bavaria and in the field of the construction field. This is just a kind of overview where we already have started with some functions. We started in 2017, where we built up this network with different associations in Bavaria, focusing always on the solid construction. We established this kind of network in 2018, we had some projects and newsletters, and we were organizing Bayern-wide forums and meetings. In 2019, kind of the same, we established the network. We were presenting the network on the Bau 2019 with the huge, or the biggest trade fair in the world. And in 2020, we focused mainly on strategic fields. That means we built up some strategic teams working on 5 different sectors. This is a kind of overview about the partners we are focusing on. That means we start from the planning side, coming to the execution side. What does it mean? Strategic innovation teams. As you already have heard today in several speeches, automation and productivity is one of the major focus also on the European Union. Digitalization for sure is one of the main topics coming up soon, also has started within the last 5 to 10 years. Raw material recycling, circular economy also is one point from one of the last speeches. Climate protection, economy, energy efficiency, and what we also focus on is the image and looking for the professionals, as there is a lack right in the market. These are 5 groups where we right now started some workshops with, working with around 10 experts in expert groups, and started workshops to define what are the upcoming topics that we have to focus on in 2020 and further. In the field of image, we need to make for sure folders, but we also focus on political position papers, getting information to the trying to get the politicians on the way we would like them to have. In the field of automation, we started different projects, and the field of circular economy. Within there, we have best practice in solid construction, which we are discussing right now. And energy efficiency, there is an integrate project starting in energetic component activation. This should be just a short overview about our activities within this network, which is much more interesting maybe for you, is the next following session about the startups. And therefore, I would like to introduce to you Innovation Made in Bavaria. These are two companies. The one hand side, on the left side, Fabian Hoppe, who is CEO and founder of HOREICH. And on the right hand side, Jonas Lerchenmüller, who is quite freshly working at KEWANZO. It's a company in Garching in the field of business development. And as you see right now, Fabian is quite online. So I would like to hand over the microphone, virtual microphone, to you, Fabian. Please start with your presentation of your company.
Okay, thanks, Ruediger, for your introduction.
Muted yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I can
fine.
hear you. And I will give you control just in a second. So here we go. Okay.
Okay. Nice slides, perfect. Okay. I would start now. My name is Okay. Hello, my name is Fabian Hoppe. I founded HOREICH in 2019 with my co-founder Andreas Reichle, and we were chosen for the EXIST program from the Economic Ministry for innovative startups. And what we do is we develop and sell IoT products for construction and building industry, including software. At first, I want to take a look at the problem we want to solve. At our clients, we saw the market need to monitor construction site and off-grid distributed infrastructure with different sensors like leakage sensors, load sensors, inclinometers, and so on. And this causes some pain to our clients because most of the hardware right now is only wired. So that means that there's a sensor, then the cable, employee goes there and manual reads out the value of the sensor, writes it on a sheet. Afterwards, he in his office, he imports it to Excel and makes his analytics. And if this wouldn't be enough for each of these sensors, there's additional hardware needed to read the values out. And by the end of the day, there are lots of legal requirements for documentation. And a future challenge is for our clients is BIM, building information modeling, which is required from the government. And there's also an aim to import sensor data in BIM models. I would like to show you the problem on a concrete example. On the left picture, you see the tower of a wind turbine. It's one of the highest wind turbines in the world. And these wind turbines are made in the first half of the tower out of concrete half shells. These concrete half shells have gaps. You can see here is one, and here's also one. And in a project, these gaps have to be monitored in strong wind phases. So what you want to know is how far is a gap when there is strong wind, and how is this solved right now? Right now, at the beginning, there is the tower gets built, and afterwards the turbine gets stopped, and industry climbers with ropes go inside on the tower and mount these displacement sensors. Then a wire, for example, from 50 meters high, goes up to the ground, is connected to a measurement computer, and this measurement computer has a hard drive where the data is collected. And it's not only one wire, there are 40 wires, because in this project there were 40 of these displacements sensors. So, and every week the employee, the worker, drives to the wind turbine, collects the data from the hard drive, goes back in his office and makes his analytics. And there are a lot of costs for the employee, and on the other side for the hardware. Kilometers of cable, expensive hardware, who collects all the data, and so on. And how does we think that we can solve this expensive problem? We invented the universal sensor platform. We call it USP. It's a platform where you can connect all kinds of different sensors, like sensors with an output signal like 4 to 20 milliamperes, analog output, CAN bus, and so on. It has a battery pack, and it's connected directly to the sensor. So then the data is sent via different wireless technologies to our backend, the HOREICH cloud. For that, we use the wireless standards narrowband IoT and GSM mostly, but also LoRa or MyOT is possible. And this brings a lot of benefit to our clients. There are cost savings, there's saving from a lot of time, and this wouldn't be enough. It's an easy plug-and-play system. And at the end, it solves your documentation work, because you can export PDF files with the results. Exactly. The next slides are some operating figures, but I would skip the slide because I think it's not so important for this pitch. Okay. Thank you. 5 minutes, I think, are over, and I'm happy to hear your questions.
Okay, great, Fabian. We will continue with the second presentation, and then we will have the questions together after the talk. Okay.
Okay, great.
So, Jonas, can you hear me? Yeah. Jonas?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. And your camera is not working, is that correct?
Unfortunately, my camera is not working. That is correct, yes.
Okay, okay. So I will give you the control for the mouse, and you should be able to, to start with your presentation. And let me know when you need the video.
Oops. How does it? Okay. So welcome everyone from my side. My name is Jonas Lerchenmüller. I'm working in the business development department of KEWANZO, and we have the aim to assemble the future. So what we're doing is we have the clear vision to automate the material transportation on construction sites with robotics and data analytics. We were actually found in 2018, and until today we have grown to a size of 21 people. Within the last 2 years, we have raised something around close to 4 million of venture capital, and we have actually used this money to develop our first application, which is focusing on scaffolding. So you may ask yourself why we're focusing on scaffolding, but if we see that 80% of the time that is needed to create a scaffold is actually used for transportation of material, and it's mainly done manually, we can see that we can create a clear value here. On average, a scaffolder carries something about up to 1 ton of material every day, mostly manually. So it's no wonder that they get tired and they start having back problems when they get older, but it's also no wonder that up to 6,000 accidents appear every year just in Germany, and some of them even end up fatal. And it's even no wonder that the younger generation sees this industry as not attractive anymore. Of course, there are already solutions that are supposed to support the scaffolders on site, such as skip hoists or rope winches, but they all have some disadvantages in common. So they're all controlled manually, which means for the rope winch, for example, that the scaffolder has to push a button constantly until the material is transported upwards, or even in a skip hoist, he actually has to stand in the basket and has to drive up together with the material. Also, a skip hoist, for example, takes comparatively long to install, so it takes up to 8 hours. And once the system is set up, we hardly have any flexibility, so the system is going to remain at the spot until the project is done. So this is why we at KEWANZO have developed LiftBot, a super compact robot that is completely wireless and battery powered and can be installed within 20 minutes. We have a semi-automated control, which means that the workers just have to push a little button for a couple of seconds, and then the robot will go up or down depending on which direction by itself. Thanks to its autonomous navigation, the system will detect its target by itself and will actually stop at the optimal height. So as Daniel already mentioned, we have provided a little video for you where we can see that we actually put in the battery and then we're already good to go. So this is the transportation platform where we put on different scaffolding parts. And if the basket is loaded, we close it and it automatically goes up. Once the system has reached the desired height, the scaffolder can open the basket, can rotate it in, and then can simply pull out the material. This project was actually done in collaboration with Bilfinger Arnold and Shell last year, as we worked on an industrial plant. So based on our experience, we can create with our applications a significant value to our customers, since we are able to save up to 44% of man hours because of our automated control, so that the people don't have to care too much anymore about the lift, about our easy installation, done in 20 minutes, and about our compact size, so that the system can be easily carried by 2 scaffolders, and it just gets attached to rails, and then we're good to go. We actually also noticed that this is a good solution for the labor shortage, since now we are able to have smaller teams. So a team of 2 to 3 scaffolders in combination with 1 liftbot can actually assemble almost any type and any size of a scaffolding. And we also noticed that we provide a maximum of flexibility. So what scaffolders actually like to do is that once they notice that the system can be used more effective, they try to disassemble and reassemble our system on a different spot on one construction site and could use the value on another plant. As you could see in the video, we have a rotatable transportation platform, and the system stops on a chest height, so the workers don't have to bend down anymore which has its value for when it comes to healthiness and safetiness. So far, we have done more than 10 projects. We have transported more than 150 tons of materials and have saved something close to 600 working hours. So to give you a little bit a better understanding of how we actually calculate our success is that once we arrive at a project, we talk to the project manager and see how they calculated the project. So in this case, where we did an emergency chimney in November 2019, the project manager estimated that the project will be done within 4 days with 4 assemblers, but by applying lift, but actually we were already done within 3 days with just 3 assemblers. So actually we were done 1 day faster, and we were able to provide 1 assembler to another project. So this is how we could save up to 56 man hours, which is a result of 44%. This is mainly possible because of a couple of technical parameters. So compared to existing skip hoists, which travel up to with an operational speed of 20 meters per minute, we can provide an operational speed of 42 meters per minute. And we have also optimized our loading capacity, which is 100 kilo. It might seem a bit less, a bit little in the beginning, but with this 100 kilos, we can ensure that we have a consistent material flow, and we do not have any bottlenecks by loading or unloading the system. Because, as we already mentioned, the control is semi-automatic and we are battery powers, we don't lose any time searching for too much powers, and we are applicable for all kind of scaffolds. As I previously mentioned in my introduction, we are also bringing data analytics to the scaffolding industry. So we're doing this by actually collecting data from our robot, such as transported height or transported weight. And then we can give the project managers a daily update about how is this project going. We see, is the project going to be delayed? Is it going to be on target? So we can provide significant value here.
Okay, thank you, Jonas. I think we have to, maybe one more statement that you want to say.
I just want to mention my application areas for a second. So we are currently focusing on 3 different application areas. The first one is the traditional construction side, where we work with Teupe, for example, or B+P. But we also have industrial plants like gas or oil, where we work with Bulfinger, and also had an application where we usually work with shipbuilding in shipbuilding yards with industrial service providers. That's it.
Okay, wonderful, great. Well, thank you to all the speakers. And Caroline, do we have questions from the chat?
We do not have any questions at the moment, but if anything else comes up, we will do this at the Q&A at the end of the session.
Okay, well, you have the contact details of the companies, and I really hope there is something interesting for you. And if not, you have the possibility to engage in the Network for Solid Construction, where you have networking possibilities then beyond today's speakers. Okay, thank you, Ruediger, and thank you for the companies for their presentations.